Welcome back to our Be a GM mode for the New York Rangers. It's been a while since our last video. Had some stuff I needed to take care of, and there was an update coming out, so I kind of wanted to wait for that. From what I understand, the update will make player meetings and the morale system a little less annoying, a little less impactful on the game. And I also see that it supposedly is going to make the defensemen score less. Not sure how I feel about that, considering scoring as a whole in this game is pretty low. But as you can see, Ryan McDonough is our lowest, or is our leader in points scored in games. So who knows? We're having a pretty rough half of the season so far. We are below 500. We are out of a playoff spot. We're not having a lot of goal scoring throughout. Rick Nash leads our team with 14 goals in 45 games played. So in this video, I definitely want to get up to the trade deadline. Probably go ahead and get through the whole season because it's been so long. But I wanted to see if there were any potential trades out there that we could maybe pick up that would make our team better. And I think more than anything what we need is goal scoring. As you can see, as I'm getting to the entire league here, our entire team is pretty significantly minus players. And I don't think necessarily it's our defense or our goaltending as much as it's our goal scoring. So picking up somebody like a Voracek would be, I think, the best thing possible for us. So I'm going to look through these real quick. I mean, there's a few guys here. Obviously, they're not going to want to trade away Tarasenko or like a Claude Giroux. Corey Perry either. I mean, he's still 31. He's young. So we need to just kind of look through these guys and see if there's anybody that they would reasonably give up. Like a team maybe out of a playoff spot. A player really wants to leave the team to join a more successful team. Not that we are right now, but they could help push us into the playoffs. But goal scoring as a whole is just pretty pitiful this season. 43 games played. Tarasenko has 29. That's respectable. 27 and 42 is not bad either. But if you look, there's only 8 players here that have at least 20 goals in 45 games played. So scoring as a whole is pretty bad this year. I think it would make sense to go after somebody like a Taylor Hall, simply because the Oilers, you know, they're getting into a logjam just about with all their forwards. I think that his trade value might be a little too high, and that's a problem we're going to run into as well here. We don't have a lot to give up, and I'm really not willing to give up somebody like Gropp or Buchnevich. Though they have great trade value, we need to rely on these guys in the future. But one thing that I think Edmonton really will need is a goaltender. But again, we don't have a lot of trade value there. We could give up Halverson or Skapski potentially. I want to hold on to Shesterkin because by the time he's ready, Hank's going to be about done. And we'll have Shesterkin to rely on after that. He's really our stud goaltender of the future. So let's go ahead here to Edmonton and see if they are willing to give up Taylor Hall and what it would cost us to to pick him up. So his trade value is off the charts. There is no way we're going to be able to get that. Jordan Eberle, on the other hand, has some pretty low trade value. He does not have the most points, but he has more points than anybody on our team. He has 3 years left at $6 million. Alright, so let's see if we can figure out a way to get this trade to go through. I think if we are picking up Jordan Eberle, we could potentially give up Kreider or Nash. One of those two, I think, could go back in this trade and we would be okay. How old is Eberle? Is he 25? Oh yeah, I can't look at him from here. Not a fan of that. Alright, let's see. So Eberle is 26. So, you know, he's still got room to grow. He's 87 overall. Have they been to the playoffs in this GM? No. So, you could argue easily that this is a trade that could go through. So we'll go ahead and try for it. Where they haven't been in the playoffs, he may request a trade or something like that. Now, if we're going to get him, I think first off, they're going to want a defenseman back. This guy is a high top 4 defenseman. He's 24 years old, though, so I don't think he's going to grow. And they need defensemen. Now, the issue here, I don't think this trade will go through at all. We'll have to give up somebody that's unsigned. We can give up this Naus guy. He's a 7th defenseman. Doesn't have a contract, that's the big thing. Let's see who matches their block. Alright, not a lot of guys that I'd be willing to give up here. Alright, no, I don't think that's going to work after all. I think we definitely need to make some changes because clearly there's something not working here. But the big thing is going to be figuring out exactly what pieces we can move and what we can get back that is going to make our team better, not just for this year, but for the upcoming years as well. No, penalty minutes, definitely don't want that. Let's look at points. So I do see why they would want to change the amount of points defenseman gets, because as you can see, there's 2 here that are just about point per game players. But they needed to do something with just goal scoring in general. A lot of forwards aren't scoring that well. A Marian Hossa wouldn't be bad to pick up, but I don't want to pick up somebody that old. Tyler Ennis might be a good one. I think we can try for Tyler Ennis, and if that doesn't work, we may just honestly have to go through the rest of this season, hope that our team can kind of rebound from this slump that they're in right now. So Tyler Ennis' trade value is incredibly low. What is his? He's 27, 4.6 million for the next 3 years. That's not bad. I think we could make that work. And they have so many centers and everything that I think what they are going to want back is probably a defenseman. So let's see if we can accommodate that. They do not want this Vostila guy, which is unfortunate because that's who I would ideally like to give for this. So we can try it. The issue here is our cap crunch. So we may have to give up somebody else, and that's okay. I figured we would. I don't want to give up Fost. Let's give them Tanner Glass. And they have too many guys, of course. Alright, let's see. I'd like to make this trade go through. They don't want a goalie. I don't want to give up a draft pick. So, could try to give up our second. We'll give up our second round draft pick, and again, they don't want it, so I don't think this trade is going to work at all. But we're going to try to make it work here. We'll give them up, or we'll give up that draft pick, and let's try to give up. We're getting a forward back, so it would make sense to give them a forward. Let's give them Jesper Fost. Yeah, I didn't figure that would go through. Alright, well, I say what we do is get a little closer to the trade deadline, and we can make a call from there. I'm going to go ahead and sim straight to the trade deadline here. Hopefully our guys can kind of get out of this scoring slump they're in, and we won't need to make a trade, but I think we'll have a good idea of where this team's headed once we get to the trade deadline. And as much as I hate to say it, it may be a time to trade a couple of our older guys away and try to get some draft picks. I don't really want to go into rebuild mode, but it may be the route that we have to take. We do still have a lot of key pieces that are young. Kreider's incredibly young, Miller, Hayes, Lindbergh, McDonough's still young. I mean, we have a lot of young players, but Okay, we're back to 500, so... And Pavel Datsuk's out for the... That's not good. You know, just when things were starting to kind of look up there, we have a big injury like that happen, and we lose Pavel Datsuk for the rest of the season. Definitely not good. So we'll go ahead and put Edom up on the third line. And I'm going to bring... Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to... Yep, I'm going to have to play Tanner Glass. Who knows, maybe Tanner Glass is exactly what we need for scoring. So let's go ahead and get Stepan up here. I know he's on the point, or he's somewhere. Okay, Kreider, Brassard. Let's get Lindbergh. Lindbergh did really well on the power play for us last year. So I'm interested to see how he will do now. He is on the penalty kill as well. We may need to change that, but right now I need to get Stepan there, and I need to get Brassard. Tanner Glass does not need to be on the power play. Doesn't really need to be on this team at all, but we have him. We're going to use him. I'm okay with all of this. I'm going to do this all as quickly as possible here. So we'll get Brassard up here, and we're going to have to probably put somebody on this one, because, yeah, that's Brassard. Okay, so we'll get Hayes. I think Hayes will be fine there. And 3-on-3, definitely don't want Tanner Glass. Let's go with Peverly. And we'll move him to the third. There. Shootout. Tanner Glass starting out the shootout. You know what? I'm leaving that. That's funny. So hopefully this loss with losing Datsuk won't be too bad. He'd be back in time for the playoffs if we make it.